So I'm with Billy Maloney. Billy identified himself as a guardian. So I wanted to hear from your voice, Billy. What are some of the superpowers that you have found as a guardian? And then we also are going to talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you face as a guardian. So first, talk about the superpowers and tell us what it's like to be a guardian.
Yeah. So I love being a guardian. I think a couple of superpowers that I can definitely identify would be the ability to build a sustainable system as well as follow through with processes with that, along with communication. I have been furloughed from the Dodgers recently, and that job I was able to sustain a lot of those systems. I like to build out systems, plan those systems, execute them. I deal with a lot of travel and planning, and building it all out is one of my favorite things to do. And that unfortunately was kind of taken away this season with no minor league baseball season. But and now I get the ability and the opportunity to work at North Church, where I've kind of taken over the groups role as a groups coordinator, and I'm able to talk with people on a daily basis, add groups, build groups, sustain groups, and find a way to be a leader to help people to get to the next level and add people to groups. And it's been a great opportunity to do that. And I think one of the biggest things about being a guardian is the communication that I have with people and the ability to ask those questions to how they can better their group. And it's just been an awesome experience with the Dodgers as well as here at North Church. So
Yeah. Talk a little bit more about those questions, because I know guardians are exceptionally good at asking the great questions. Talk about some of the positive sides of those questions, and then maybe some of the stuff you've noticed that can be a bit of a negative sometimes.
yeah, so I think I definitely love to ask questions, and I think that kind of can, like you said, can kind of get me in trouble sometimes. There's times where maybe I'm asking too many questions, or maybe I already know the answer to the question. But I think when I'm having a conversation with someone or trying to better someone, if I know them and I can know their voice and know a little bit more about them, I think it's easier to ask those difficult questions and ask them questions in order to help me, but also help them understand the situation and understand where we're both coming from. But I think, like you said, at the same time, it is tough to ask those questions. Especially when you're talking, maybe, it might be easier when you're talking to a coworker, but when you're talking to a boss and something like that, to where you might not feel as comfortable. But when you're able to ask those difficult questions in a situation where you may seem vulnerable, I think it allows you to really grow, and it allows your voice to speak up to that person. And at first it may seem a little intimidating to say, but I think once they understand where you're coming from and they understand that you're asking difficult questions to help them and to help yourself, I think that's just a huge benefit for everyone in that conversation. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I've seen you grow as a guardian, and healthy guardians are some of the greatest assets to a team that I've ever seen, because they ask the right questions at the right team at the right time to clarify the vision and to really make sure it's going to work. Because if you are passionate about anything in life as a guardian, Billy, you want it to work at the end of the day.
That's 100%. I'm not one that likes to just leave off somewhere and not know that finished product. I want to be involved with it till the end, and I want to find a way to contribute. And I think asking those questions and being a part of it, kind of like you said, and just staying involved and making sure, I like to think, making sure it's done correctly. That's somewhere that's a challenge, I think, for me. You might get into that, but is kind of having in my own head how I want that process to be, or how I want this communication to be. And I think that can sometimes get a guardian in trouble, is maybe not listening to the other people around you or those other voices that could really help the entire situation and challenge everyone for the better. So.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that. I mean, I think it's been a privilege for me to watch you grow and be a healthy guardian and really see the impact that you're making and the influence that you're gaining at the organization. And you're really making a difference, Billy. And I know you're just getting started, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, thanks for spending some time with us and just sharing what it's like to be a guardian.
And something I learned from Josh: know myself to lead myself.
I love it, man. Thanks for sharing, buddy.